Hello, fellow Sherlockians. Welcome to Sherlock Songs. My name is Jim Ballinger, and I've been writing songs about the Sherlock Holmes stories for more than 40 years. I have a set of 60 songs in which I retell each of the original stories, and these were collected in Sherlock Holmes in Song 2021, MX Publishing. I have about another 35 songs on various aspects of the Sherlockian canon, and many of these were collected in Sing Along with Sherlock Holmes in 1995. Videos of virtually all these songs are on my YouTube channel at Sherlock Songs 221B. I'll put the address at the end of the video. I'm a longtime member of the Bootmakers of Toronto, for whom most of these songs were written and first performed. Also Sherlock Holmes Society of London, and my current home society is the Spence Monroes of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. What I'd like to do is give you 6 songs, live performance, warts and all, and these will be in 3 sets of 2 songs. So the first 2 are my musical settings of words written by others. Probably the best known Sherlockian poem is 221B by Vincent Starrett, published 1942. But it's not just Starrett's sonnet. In 2018, Mattias Bostrom wrote a response to it, and so I've combined the 2 into this song, 221B times 2. Here dwell together still 2 men of note, who never lived and so can never die. How very near they seem, yet how remote, that age before the world went all awry. But still the game's afoot for those with ears attuned to hear the distant view halloo. England is England yet, for all our fears, only things the heart believes are true. Yellow fog swirls past the window pane as night descends upon this fabled street. A lonely hansom splashes through the rain. The ghostly gas lamps fail at 20 feet. Here, though the world explode, these 2 survive, and it is always 1895. So far away we are from Baker Street, or so it seems, in fact we're very near. We feel the cobblestone, we see the sweet, we smell and hear those things we hold so dear. We close our eyes and go to Baker Street. It's always there for us and for our friends. We may be far apart, and yet we meet on Baker Street together till all ends. Yellow fog that still is swirling there, the hansom cabs surround us in the rain, a world of joy that we have come to share, and be entangled in that tangled skein. You, me, another time, another place, that's all we need, so come, we're on the case. Another well-known Sherlockian poem is A Long Evening with Holmes by Bill Schweikert, written in 1984. I did a musical setting of it in about 94, and I'd like to do that for you now. A Long Evening with Holmes. When the world rushes in with its worries and cares, my problems and headaches are coming in pairs, I just climb in my mind up those 17 stairs and spend a long evening with Holmes. The good doctor greets me and motions me in. Holmes grasps my hand and lays down his violin. Then we sit by the fire and sip a tall gin, when I spend a long evening with Holmes. And while we're discussing his cases galore, if I'm lucky they'll come a loud knock at the door. In stumbles a client, head covered in gore, when I spend a long evening with Holmes. The good Watson attends to the client's poor face, while Holmes soon extracts all the facts of the case. Then it's off in a hansom to Brixton we chase. When I spend a long evening with Holmes, the adventure is solved. Holmes makes everything right, so it's off to the lodgings by dawn's early night, and a breakfast by Hudson to finish the night. When I spend a long evening with Holmes, the modern rat race can't keep me in a cage. I have a passport to a far better age. It's as close as my bookshelf, as near as the page. I can spend a long evening with Holmes. I can spend a long evening with Holmes. I can spend a long evening without ever leaving my chair. A long evening with Holmes. Now we come to two of my story songs, as I call them. And I've chosen maybe not the best known stories, but ones that I find particularly fun to sing. I really don't know what it is about this first one, but ever since I wrote it in 1988, it's been a go-to for me. The song and the story is The Barrel Coronet, in which Alexander Holder makes a loan, and as collateral is given a bejeweled crown. Not trusting the office safe, he takes it home, and that's where the whole thing falls apart. The Barrel Coronet. It's kind of a folk rock song. He was tall and portly, well dressed as he ran down Baker Street. For Alexander Holder was a banker, not athlete. A client most illustrious had borrowed 50 thou, and as collateral the barrel coronet endowed. Not trusting of the office safe, Al took the booty home, and told his son and niece of the collateral and loan. 'Twas no surprise he woke that night, discovering his son was wrestling with the coronet, in fact had torn off one. Arthur, you villain, you thief, how dare you touch that coronet and bring your father grief? You blackguard, destroyer, you louse. If that's the way you feel about it, Dad, I'll leave your house. Arthur wouldn't say another word about the jewels. His father went to Sherlock Holmes, 'cause Scotland Yard were fools. Holmes examined scene of crime and went out in disguise. He spent a long, hard day at work and came back with the prize. Al's niece and Sir George Burnwell had been having an affair. When George heard of the coronet, he couldn't leave it there. But Arthur tried to stop the theft, which Mary did the bet. In the scuffle, George got hurt, as did the coronet. Arthur, I must make amends. You took the crown to cover for your cousin and your friend. How noble, my doubts I regret. I hope I'll never see again the barrel coronet. I hope I'll never see again the barrel coronet. Okay. Now, another song I really enjoy singing is The Sussex Vampire. And this has sort of a South American feel to it in honor of Robert Ferguson's Peruvian wife. Sussex Vampire. It starts with the Sussex Vamp. Morrison, Morrison and Dodd refer a case to Sherlock Holmes. No one thinks it even slightly odd. Speak as if a vampire roams, for Robert Ferguson of Cheeseman's Manor took a Peruvian as his enamored. She soon became mother to a tiny son, to match another from wife number one. A vampire on the loose it seems, a mother bites her baby's neck, the father answers the baby's screams, a nightmare from his wildest dreams. Hot-blooded wife is locked away at After the second bloody attack, why did she do it? She would not say. Why she assaulted her stepson Jack. So Ferguson calls his solicitors. They say, maybe Sherlock Holmes will take up yours. You must remember how he came up big and solved the case known as Matilda Briggs. Matilda Briggs, Matilda Briggs, Sumatra's giant rat, but the world isn't ready. Holmes views the scene with his own eyes and meets all those who were involved. He sees a spaniel paralyzed, Peruvian weapons on the hall. He sees the baby and the first son, Jackie, while Watson gives comfort to the wife gone wacky. The nurse, Mrs. Megson, and the maid Dolores. Results will hear after another chorus. A vampire on the loose, it seems. A mother bites her baby's neck. Father answers, the baby screams. A nightmare from his wildest dreams. Sherlock goes for the jugular. The answer's plain for all to see. He tells Fergie what a mug you are. It was simply sibling rivalry. Jack used poisoning without a doubt. A horrified mother sucked the poison out. But wife and husband reconciled. Within a year they had another child. The vampire's back in the good old index, back where it belongs. There with Sumatra's giant rat, the clever pinch of Victor Lynch at the ending of my song. Okay. Now the last two are songs about other aspects of the Sherlockian canon, and we'll start with one of my favorite songs, and certainly the most fun to sing, about Sherlock's favorite restaurant, Simpson's in the Strand. Now this was written more than 20 years before I actually went to Simpson's, so it was based on nothing at all. And the musical form is a rag, sometimes called the Simpsons rag. You may think that's out of place, but ragtime emerged in the 1890s, so it does fit quite well with the era we are in awe of. Simpsons in the Strand. When in London on a stroll, your tummy starts to growl and roll. Make your culinary goal, Simpsons in the Strand. If you've been on a 3-day fast, pretending to be on your last legs, celebrate your first repast at Simpsons in the Strand. Away from London for a while, a wholesome meal you want. Return and celebrate in style at Simpson's restaurant. Not as costly as the Ritz, but one of Sherlock's favorites. For atmosphere and grandeur, it's Simpsons in the Strand. You'll find eating at Simpsons keeps hunger at bay. The menu is massive and fresh every day. The service is super, the ambiance is grand. Try eating at Simpsons, Simpsons in the Strand. If you fancy roast of beef, first savor your aperitif. Prepare for taste beyond belief at Simpsons in the Strand. Potatoes cooked just as they should be, likewise is the Yorkshire pud. You've never tasted food so good as Simpsons in the Strand. Veggies to perfection cooked and homemade rolls as well. Nothing has been overlooked, not sight nor sound nor smell. The meal is simply beautiful, your tummy is completely full. Even squash is edible at Simpsons in the Strand. You'll find eating at Simpsons keeps hunger at bay. Just savor the flavors and languish all day. The wine list curated, gins and whiskeys grand. Try eating at Simpsons, Simpsons in the Strand. Even if you're in a hurry, don't partake of mutton curry. You'll awake with memory furry, head held in your hands. If you're dining at Goldini's, please don't order beans and weenies. Stick to carbonara linguine or Simpsons in the Strand. If in Mrs. Hudson's bay window you should eat, I wouldn't touch the beef pate, there's horsehair in the meat. When Sherlock on Shepherd's Pie decided there was no supply, till Mr. Sweeney Todd passed by and offered her a hand, a genuine shepherd's hand. I don't care if the landlady babbles of peas, you should eat where the food may be certain to please. For the best meal in London, for the entire land, try eating at Simpson's, Simpson's in the Strand. Try eating at Simpson's, Simpson's in the Strand. Now we've come to a full circle, because this song harks back to Starrett's 221B. In 1997, the Bootmakers held a conference called Lasting Impressions, and I wrote this song for the banquet there. And it talks about what it is about these characters that draw us together more than a century after the stories were written. Lasting impressions. Oh, I need some volume. I better try that again. Consulting detective, first of his kind, the wisest and best man that we'll ever find, intently pursues the minute vital clues that make the onlookers seem blind. He leaves a lasting impression in each of our minds, a lasting impression in each of our minds. Retired army surgeon, the sweetest of men, precisely the person you'd pick as a friend. Not luminous quite, yet conductor of light. The stories he masterfully told, he leaves a lasting impression in each of our souls, a lasting impression in each of our souls. The woman, he called her, alone of her sex, adventurous she left the master sleuth vexed. She bade him good night, then astutely took flight, the fruit of her wit and her art. She leaves a lasting impression in each of our hearts, a lasting impression in each of our hearts. An ophthalmic surgeon, no patience to see, picked up his pen and became history. As fresh from the page, he evokes bygone age, forever 1895. He leaves a lasting impression in each of our lives, a lasting impression in each of our lives. He leaves a lasting impression in each of our minds, lasting impression in each of our souls, lasting impression in each of our hearts. He leaves a lasting impression in each of our lives. Now, I know I said 6 songs, but I'd like to add another half song. This is my setting of some familiar words from the end of His Last Bow. Stand with me upon the terrace, maybe our last quiet talk. Reminisce about old cases, heed not prisoner von Bork. There's an east wind coming, Watson, I think not, it's very warm. It will be both cold and bitter, some may wither in the storm. Good old Watson, one fixed point in changing age. Better, stronger, land in sunshine when the storm has cleared the stage. Holmes and Watson, ever then and ever now, stand with us upon the terrace, Sherlock Holmes in his last bow. Holmes and Watson, ever then and ever now, stand with us upon the terrace, Sherlock Holmes in his last bow. Sherlock Holmes in his last bow. Well, if you've lasted to this point, thank you very much. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. Bye for now.